Friends, family, fanatics, welcome back to another episode of Back Nine Bets where we totally forgot to put the banner up. So, starting off hot and heavy, I'm going to just edit this as we roll here because we've got all sorts of crazy things that's going on. And we are not at the Sony Open, we are now at the Amex. And we don't even know the title of our thing. So, that's what's going on. It's going to be a bannerless episode. I typically start to forget one thing per episode, and this is it. So, welcome to Back Nine Bets, episode 46. Holy what? Can we restart this whole thing? No, we can't. It is what it is. Let's sit back, let's take a sip. Happy Tuesday to you all. We've got the goddamn Amex. It was a bloodbath at the Sony. 10 placement bets, 2 of them hit. Yikes. Absolutely yikes city. What a mess. Andrew Putnam decided that he was going to just not do anything but finish T4 at the end of the week. So that's what's going on there. Andrew Putnam was our closest outright. Didn't cash. Is what it is. We've got the Amex this week. Back Nine Bets, episode 46, presented by rotoballer.com. Go check out rotoballer.com/radio. Get yourself 50% off. Got all the different types of packages out there. My package is the cheapest, obviously. And then we've got a hybrid with all sorts of other stuff. And then we've got Spencer's that includes mine. All things included for Spencer's is $200 a year. Use code Maniac, get 10% off there. $180 for the whole year. You get all of our shizners, all of our research tools, all of our articles, the Discord, the whole freaking shebang, folks. Go check it out, rotoballer.com. The wonderful people that are sponsoring this podcast. Thank you. So that's what's cooking. We've got a great week ahead of us. It's going to be a week of unknowns, a week of chaos. We've got the Bob Ross wig on. 2 minutes into the episode, we're finally discussing the Bob Ross wig. It's on because we got 3 golf courses, all under 7,200 yards, all par 5s, 4 of them on each course. But we don't have any stats, no shot link data, diddly freaking squat. So we're going to have to paint some pictures with some reverse engineered numbers to try and get an understanding of what we expect this week. Also, coming off the 2 bloodbaths, the RSM and the Sony Open essentially lost me like 20 total units between the 2 weeks. So that wasn't good. We are hemorrhaging units over the last 2 weeks. It's the 2 worst weeks I've ever had betting, ever. But we are happy and we are smiling. We don't mess around on this show. So we bring the heat, we bring the good vibes. Happy Tuesday to you all, wherever we may find you. Let's take a look at what's going on this week. We've got ourselves a casual situation here where the correlations are based off the stadium course. So this is only going to be played twice this week if you land up making the cut even. So that's kind of what's cooking. We got accuracy apparently is important. Strokes gained off the tee and accuracy. Important, yeah. I think there's lots of water and all sorts of crap everywhere. Approach, not that important, but we still rank approach very highly in our model. So we'll still be rolling with that. It's still the highest correlated metric you can find this week on the stadium course at 0.592, barely out edging putting, which we typically don't try and correlate as hard as approach. The scrambling percentages at this venue are 6% higher, so you can get up and down 6% more at this golf course, apparently. So bear that in mind when you're doing your modeling. Strokes gained around the green, not that important in my honest opinion. Per the Data Golf website, it looks like 150 to 175 is kind of important. 23% of shots come from that range, which we know we like to highlight proximity buckets on this show. Speaking of proximity buckets, let's take a peek at what's going on here. How do I get these guys this way? We're all over the place. Okay. There we go. Now you can see what's going on. We've got the 3 different courses. I took each yardage of each hole minus 300 yards, just an average drive to kind of get a rough estimate of where we can expect proximities to land this week. As you can tell, we've got ourselves a hefty amount of shots coming from 175 and in. There's also going to be 30% of shots outside of 200 yards. So John Rahm's going to be quite happy about those. The putting contest that he's bitched about the whole year since everyone's been speaking about it is going to be in full effect this week because we've got a lot of shots coming from 100 to 175 is about half the shots this week, and that's not necessarily Jon Rahm's wheelhouse. He did land up losing strokes at the Sony Open, the Tournament of Champions in Wailea, the Century Tournament of Champions in Wailea. He landed up losing strokes on approach within those wedge ranges. We know he can't hit those wedges too well, and that is why we will see what's going on the model once we get there. Here is how the model's rating. Course history is one of the lowest at this venue, not weighting that at all. We haven't got enough stats in 2023 to get more than 10% in the model, so we're still riding 2022, 90%. Official World Golf Ranking, and then recent form, 5%. Official World Golf Ranking, 10%. So total approach, 45, prorated on the different buckets, 5% for 150 to 175. I know that's a bit steep, but we're kind of trying to get an edge on the field here this week. Strokes gained putting. We want guys that are good putting. I have no idea what the surface is. I wrote up about Bermuda in my article. My good friend Ron told me that it's POA. But it's not normal POA. It's POA Trivialis or whatever the hell that is. I'm still learning the names of these random greens, so bear with me. So we got some putting going on here. Total short game for 19%. And then total driving for 15%. Off the T7, driving accuracy 5, distance 3. That's what we're cooking with on Back 9 Bets, episode 46. I can't even tell you what the freaking name of this episode is, folks. How embarrassing. How embarrassing is that? I actually tweeted it out, so I should actually just know exactly what it is. Okay. Let's take a peek here. We got big... Okay. That's what it's called. Because it's fun. Yeah, that's what it is. You know, the Peter Griffin when he's golfing and his wife says, "Oh, look, there's water over there. Why don't I hit my ball in the water?" He says, "Don't hit it in the water." But she says, "You hit it in the water." "Of course I hit it in the water." "Why'd you hit it in the water?" "Because golf is fun." Right, Lewis? Anyway, so getting over that, we had to just kind of save the name of the episode here for a brief second. This is what cooking. Let's get to the model. Let's get to what you guys came here for. The model maniac wearing the Bob Ross wig. Welcome to the party. We got ourselves the highest price golfers, a bunch of NAs. If you like that kind of thing, let's filter these sons of bitches out and get the guys in here. So Jon Rahm leads the pack at $10,800, looking like he's going to be pushing 30% ownership. Obviously, because he plays very good golf at this course. He's played here well before. I think he's even won. But also, he's going to have to putt lights out because I don't think he's going to hit his irons close enough in order to have a good week on approach in order to succeed. It's going to be all on the putter, and we know how volatile putting can be. For that reason, hashtag Mark Cuban, we are out. Scotty Scheffler, on the other hand, is number 1 in my model. Jon Rahm is 5th. If you take a look at his weighted proximity, we took all the weightings. If you take all of these weightings here in the proximity buckets that we just went through the stats for, this 5% is causing him some issues. And he's actually kind of good from this range too. So it's the 100 to 150 he's really bad from. And he's going to see a fair share of those shots this week, especially for how far he hits it. He's not going to land up in this 150 to 175 range. He's going to land up along with the other chaps, like Scotty and Patrick Cantley and Tony. They're all going to be in the wedge ranges. They all hit it further than 300 yards. On the odd occasion, you're going to have to be forced to lay up, I believe, on this course. I have no idea what exactly every hole is, but just a rough understanding of the course tells us that Jon Rahm's going to have a lot of wedges. He sucks at wedges. He's going to rely on his putting. That's why we're out on the highest owned golfer on the slate. There we go. We can end the podcast now. Scotty Scheffler, number 1 in the model, 18% owned, looking like. Off the tee, 3rd. Love what we're seeing. Approach, 2nd. Weighted proximities, 5th. Yes. Birdie or better percentages 1st, and par 5 scoring 2nd. Everything we're looking for on this golf course. Birdies, par 5s, he's 1 and 2. Approach, he's 2nd. He can't putt to save his life. In 2023 season, he's 143rd in putting. No good. And that's in 16 rounds. So as you can tell, it's not good for Scotty Scheffler at all when it comes to the putting this year. So we are banking on him to have a better putting performance, but he even sticks around even when he doesn't putt well. If you take a look at his recent form, it's 14th in the field, which isn't terrible, but he's going to be significantly less owned than everyone around him because of that putter and his recent form coming into the event. So we saw him pop on the final round of the Century Tournament of Champions, but he was scrambling for pars. I think it's a lot easier to make. Some guys' brains are just ingrained to make par saves and make those putts versus birdies, but we're going to be on a different surface here. I think that the greens are going to be a lot easier to putt on. Hopefully for Scotty, that is what does the trick. We are hoping the same thing for Tom Kim. We will get there in a bit. So Scotty Scheffler, everything about his game is phenomenal. So now, as you can see on the model, if you're watching on YouTubeage, we've got ourselves an additional 4 or 5 new columns over here. And they are safety, top 40, top 20, top 10, and safety plus top 10 in order to figure out, okay, what kind of golf are we going to be getting this week? Safety is made cuts. Top 40, obviously, top 20, top 10, da-da-da. The safety plus top 10 is exactly what we're looking for in a golfer because we want him to make cuts and we want him to finish inside the top 10. So the higher this percentage is, the better. And you can see Patrick Cantley leads the way at 153%. He's top 10s in 63% of his starts. What the earth, God damn given talent is that? 63% of his starts, top 10. So let's get to Patrick Cantley. He's second in my model. We're kind of skipping Tony Finau at 10-2. I'll get back to him. But 10-1, Patrick Cantley, right underneath Tony. 63% of his starts in 19 starts have been top 10s. He's made 89% of his cuts. The guy is just the epitome of consistency. His game is fantastic. He's got the second best recent form coming into the week, over 8 rounds. So there are some guys, the top tier guys you can see other rounds are orange and red. Some of them, even Will Zalatoris, he's had 4 rounds on tour, but the stupid PGA Tour website won't update it and put 4 rounds in there. So it's 0. So I'm not going to lie and put random stuff in there. This is what Willie Z gets because the PGA Tour sucks. But also it's only 10% worth of waiting, so we're not too concerned about that. Tangent aside, Patrick Cantley, second best form coming into the week. He's the best off the tee recently, but let's actually leave his recent form alone because it's only 8 rounds. Easy golf courses. He's the number 1 scorer. This dude absolutely puts easy golf courses in their place. He makes a crap ton of birdies. Let's take a peek at his par 5 scoring is first in the field. Birdie or better percentage is second. So I'm going to go to Patrick Cantley over Jon Rahm. I'm going to go to Patrick Cantley over Tony Finau. And then we're going to play some Scotty Scheffler as well. We've just been going down the wormhole with Scotty Scheffler. Are we going to ever be rewarded for it, or are we just going to perennially lose money on him? Even though he does rattle off top 10s at a very high clip, 48%, but that might have been the majority. It's not. He's had 21 starts. He had a crazy beginning of the year. He's been rattling off these top 10s, losing putting. That just shows you how good his goddamn ball striking has been. So we've got Scotty Scheffler here that's just, he's primed to burst out. So he's played well here before. Patrick Cantley also played here well before. And a lot of people are going to be making their decisions about their golfers this week based off course history. It's one of the lowest correlated events on the tour schedule. There are good guys that play well here, but I'm not going to, if there's someone that's very popular like Brian Harmon, he has no business being up at $9,300 but it's because of his course history. The model isn't weighing any course history in there. If your course history sucks, that's okay. This golf course it's 3 different golf courses. You got amateurs walking over your putting line. You got random dudes walking while you're trying to hit shots. It's chaos. It's 3 days. It's 7 hours on the course. It's going to be cold as balls. It's like 45 degrees, getting a high of like 55, 60 maybe. It's going to be cold in California, folks. So embrace the volatility. Play the ownership game this week. It's super easy. Outside of Xander Schauffele up here, you can tell exactly where I'm going. You can see all the different highlighted stuff is all the lowest owned guys. They all ranked very similar. I'm playing the ownership game. There's no way you can tell exactly what's going to happen this week with all the variables that are coming into play this week. Whew. I didn't even have a sip. I picked it up and put it down. So Xander's got a back problem, and that's why he's 9% owned, which is still pretty high. Tony Finau, he's been playing great golf. He comes in here with 10 rounds played, has the best total strokes gained. He obviously played magnificently at the Cadence Bank Houston. Sorry, not the Hero. And everything about his game is nice. His bogey avoidance is the second best in the field. 6th on par 5 scoring, 8th on birdie or better percentages. Nothing else too crazy outside of just his recent form. Like all of his other stats are kind of outside the top 5, but Tony's shown us what he's actually peaked. He's been peaking in the full swing, and his game is just here to stay, it seems. So we'll see what he can get up to. But I'm out on Tony. I'm gonna go with Cantley. He's shown me he can do it all, and that T10 at 63% is just too goddamn juicy to pass up. So we're gonna go to Cantley. Gonna skip over Xander. If his ownership gets all the way down to like 3%, maybe we'll go there, but 9% is just a little too high. He's 7th in the model, but that's without a bad back. So putting that out there. Moving down the list, we got Sungjae Im, who absolutely burnt the majority of us last week, missing the cut in epic fashion, hitting every single tree that was planted down the 6th hole en route to missing the cut on a terrible back 9 on Friday. He's off the tee, is 4th in the field, so he's going to be hitting from the fairway. He's just so freaking solid. 29th in accuracy, 13th in good drives gained. Doesn't have the longest distance, but that's okay. Baseline off the tee is also 4th. So everything about freaking Sungjae's game suits off the tee here. His approach play for weighted proximity numbers is 8th in the field, which is also fantastic to see. Love to see that from the weighted proximity area. Sand saves are great. Putts great from inside 5 feet, which isn't that big of a deal for me, actually, because the difference between putting inside of 5 feet and the best guy and the worst guy is like 2%. So out of every 100 putts, they're going to miss 2 more putts, which at the end of the day can make a difference. But the percentage differences are much bigger from 5 to 15 feet. So the better you are in that range is the more you can separate yourself from the pack. Little tidbit there on some statistical analysis. 5 to 15, he's 34th in the field. Bogey avoidance, number 1, baby. And then par 5 scoring is 3rd. So Sungjae, he can get it going, man. He really can. I am going to pick and choose my battles. I don't think I'm going to play too many guys at the top here. If you kind of just scroll down the board here, you can just see there's just tons and tons of available ownership leverage down here at the bottom in the $7,800, the $8,000 ranges, which I think we can find some good guys. I think we'll get there eventually if I quit rambling on here. So Sungjae Im, I like him. The model takes him at 9th, but Will Zalatoris played well here before, but we don't care about that. Course history means diddly squat. He, even with all these crappy stats in here for the 10% for recent form, his weighted proximity is number 1 in the field. So this guy is going to ball strike this golf course to death. He's going to absolutely break this golf course with his irons. He showed us what he could do last year at this venue. 6th in bogey or birdie or better percentages, which you love to see. And yeah, I think if you were to go to somebody, he's 4th in my model and he's $9,600. So you're getting a good salary saver there on Wally Z for what the model's telling us he's worth. Tom Kim, let's go. 3rd in the model. Broke our hearts last week, but we never bet him outright. It didn't matter because Andrew Putnam couldn't seal the deal anyway. Tom Kim missed the cut. Landed up missing the cut because he lost strokes putting, hemorrhaging strokes putting, leaking oil all over the greens. Absolute catastrophically poor putting performance by Tom Kim. However, we've seen Tom Kim's, if you take a look at his track record, you can look. He's had bad putting performances and he has exceptional. The 2 wins he's had is when he's just gone nuclear on the greens. And the 2 weeks leading up to both of those wins, not just the 1 week, 2 weeks he was going neutral. He was neutral in week 1, week 2. 3rd week, guy just exploded on the greens. Both times he won the tournament. He's done that recently. The Century and the Sony, I mean, he wasn't neutral at the Sony. He was barbarically bad, but you get the gist. So if he can get his putting together, oh my, he's going to be just fine. He's in his 13 rounds that he's played on tour. His safety rating plus top 10 is 123%, which is up there with the best of them. You know, only pretty much John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantley, and Xander have better safety plus upside percentages. So he's really up there. I know the fields he's played haven't been the best, but still, this guy's out here just striking the ball to death. Ball striking in 2023, fourth in the field. Let's freaking go. Proximity numbers, weighted, second in the field. Approach numbers, general, third in the field. Good drives gained, number one. Number one. So everything about his game from an approach play standpoint is still probably going to be there this week. I'm waiting at a reasonable amount. He's looking primed. He's looking absolutely primed. I can't tell you, how much I'm going to play Tom Kim, but he's going to be in my player pool. Let's rock and roll. I'm obsessed with him, and we've got him at 25-1 to win this freaking golf tournament. DraftKings, 25-1. I think it's sitting at 22-1 right now. Go grab yourself a Tom Kim ticket, folks. He's winning this thing. Choo-choo. He's gonna. He's absolutely going to. I think he's going to bounce back from last week. He's playing too good a golf from tee to green to not put money down on a guy that was 25-1 when the rest of these bozos, we have the same exact, pretty much same ranking, weighting, the whole shebang. His recent form is fourth in the field, and we're getting a number that's double John. I mean, it's probably quadruple John Rahm's number, which was 6-1, and that was the most grossly mispriced number out on the market. It means that he has to win this event. He's got a 12.5% chance to win this event, which makes it 8. So that is kind of crazy to think about. The fact that he has to win this event 1 in 8 times in order to make up that ticket. The rest of the guys weren't as grossly mispriced. Scotty Scheffler and Patrick Cantley were both sitting around 12-1, 11-1, which is also a push. Whereas Tom Kim, he's pretty much got the same. He's showing us top 10s. He's finished inside the top 10 31% of the time. He's won 2 golf tournaments. So when he plays well and wins. And he's 25-1. You can get sexy with the whole rest of my card. I've got another 7 outrights. If you want to go with a Scotty Scheffler and a Patrick Cantley at 10-1, that limits you massively. And we know the volatility of this event. You got to free up some other space on your card in order to get these guys in there. So absolutely love myself some Tom Kim. Let's go. Third in the model. Hallelujah. I mean, just everything. His accuracy off the tee, the approach play, the freaking upside with the putter. I'm ignoring the 5 strokes he lost in round 1 to absolutely butcher any sort of opportunity we had to do well. I mean, I had him in 80% of my lineups for DFS, so that absolutely nuked me. But hey, life goes on. In my Breaking 100 article, we got him for a top 20 at plus 125. So go check that out on rotorball.com. It is free for you to view. There are other premium items that we have out there that you can grab yourself. And it's a nice fair balance from me that you got premium and free. So go check all that stuff out. Do your thing. Use code Maniac, 10% if you want to get on the premium package with me and everybody else. Next up in the model, we've got a number 8 ranked Sam Burns, who's looking like he's the same ownership as Xander Schauffele, which is very intriguing to me. He doesn't have a broken back. Sam Burns has won like 3 times in the last 2 years or so. This guy can do it. When he pops, he can pop. This kind of golf course, we're expecting him to absolutely demolish if he can play to the way he can. And if we take a look at Sam Burns' statistics, even this year, it's been a little sketchy. The approach play has been a little weird. The putting hasn't been there, but that's only been in 13 rounds. If we take a look at what he does best, he dominates par 5s. He's 4th in the field in par 5 scoring. He's $9,400. So he's $1,400 cheaper than Jon Rahm. He's probably won more PGA Tour events than Jon Rahm, or maybe as many, and bigger. So I'm just putting that out there. Jon Rahm has won some ho-dunk events, some in Europe, some in Mexico, and then the Century, where it was 39 people and Colin Morikawa crapped it down his legs. So he did shoot an incredible back 9, but hey, you know what I'm saying. He does it when the pressure's not on, unless he's at Murfield Village in Ohio. Off the tee, Sam Burns, 8th. Weighted proximity, 11th. Putting, general, 7th. 3-putt avoidance, 11th. Putting from inside the 15 to 5 feet, 10th in the field. So everything about his putting is fantastic. 17 birdie or better percentage. Everything about his game is Great. And yes, my man Brian back in the chat. I have to go back and hear what you said about Sungjae, but the last 2 years he sucked at the Sony and always bounced back strong at the Amex. Let's go this week. Okay, let's go this week. Want to go to the Amex, bro? Let's go. I'm just kidding. Let's have a day, Brian. Let's have a good week. Yeah, if you want to go back to Sungjae, feel free. I'm going to go with Tom Kim instead. That's kind of just the vibes we're rolling with there. But Sungjae, I don't even know what I said about him. So we might both have to go back and look because it was just a very average take, I'd say. So nothing negative, nothing too positive. Just a very normal take, I'd say. Tom Kim, going to win this thing. Sam Burns, definitely going to be in the player pool if he's going to be neglected ownership-wise. Why is Brian Harmon more owned than Sam Burns? If you're going to play in GPPs and you're trying to play Brian Harmon, who I understand has had great course history here, but he's had great course history here. I was looking last year's official World Golf rankings totaled 76 total points. This year it's 172 or something in that mark. It's like double. So his course history here needs to be halved, basically. So if you're banking off course history going into this event, we've added like all of these guys. We've got Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, Tony, Patrick Cantley, Xander Schauffele, Sungjae Im, Will Zalatoris, Tom Kim, Sam Burns, Cameron Young, Taylor Montgomery. Like these guys are really, really good. And typically only 2 or 3 of them have pitched up to this event. Now we've got like 9 of them. So it's going to get wild out there. And course history might not nearly be as predictive as people are imagining, especially at a course that isn't necessarily that predictive in the first place. Now we're getting even more premier players in the field. Course history means diddly squat to me this week. So that's why I think Sungjae, like he's always going to play well, I think, but it is what it is. So Brian Harmon at 13%, I've got him as a fantasy player that I'm going to start every week because he makes a bunch of cuts. 80% of his cuts he makes. So he's sitting up in the 112% safety plus T10 thing. Okay, look, 32% of his starts are T10s. Well, Sam Burns is 23% and he's 91% for safety plus top 10. But he's going to be 5% less owned than Brian Harmon. And I feel like Sam Burns can win a tournament. If you're going to be playing in a GPP, you want your guy that you're picking to win a tournament. Brian Harmon, when last did he freaking win a tournament? I bet him at the Sony last week. Didn't do anything. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Sam Burns is a GPP play. Brian Harmon, he seems super safe and casual. So Siwoo coming, if he's going to be 14% owned, that'll be interesting at $9,200. 32nd in my model, coming off a win. Look at this top 10 percentage. He's only had top 10s in like 4% of his starts. Yeah. So, and then he goes and wins one. I don't know if the win's included in that stat or not, but what the hell? Like, how do you even bet on a guy that's only had, I looked to make sure this 4% makes sense. He only had a T8 at the Shriners in October. That was his only top 10 all of last year. Like the last 25 starts this guy's had, the whole of last season. He didn't have a single top 10 outside of the Shriners. So congrats to those guys that bet Siwoo. I mean, I don't even know how you saw that coming. I didn't. I guess if you're on him, but I didn't see that coming. I mean, there was nothing apart from his irons that are incredibly good all the time. But look at Kyle Stanley, like Siwoo hadn't been doing too much with the putter. That's my reason I didn't bet him. Also, it just didn't ever cross my mind to even click his name. So it is what it is. Life goes on. You hit some, you miss some. So that is how life goes. On the other side of things, Cameron Young is sitting over here at $9,100 underneath Brian Harmon and Siwoo Kim. Cameron Young, folks. Cameron freaking Young, the guy that had 7 top 3s he's had 7 top 3s. I don't know if it was last season or recently, whatever. Since 2022, he's had 7 top 3s. What on earth is that nonsense? Look at this. 27% top 10 rate, 105% for safety and top 10. Everything about his game. His 12 rounds he's played so far is 3rd on approach. The guy is dialed right now. His easy course rating is 8th. And yeah, I agree, Brian. Brian says Brian Harmon priced over than Young is criminal. I totally higher, lower. We understand. I butchered the name too. Brian Harman being priced more expensive than Cameron Young is criminal, and Siwoo being priced more than Cameron Young is criminal. So yeah, what the hell is going on with that? Who the heck knows? But if you take a look all the way to the right of the screen here, we got a Cameron Young sitting a casual third in birdie or better percentages, while he's one of the worst putters inside of 5 feet. He's 152nd in the field. Woo, boy, that's bad. But when it comes to putting from 5 to 15 feet, he's 7th, which is, what is that? That is a mental problem. The closer he gets to the hole, the less chance he has of being. Look, it's not like he's going to make more putts from further away. He just ranks worse the further away he gets. So don't get me wrong. Like I said, there's only a few percentages that we're dealing with here inside of 5 feet, but that is bad. That is very, very bad. And we've seen that. So his 3-putt avoidance is obviously very bad too, because a lot of your second putts are going to be inside of 5 feet. So that's Cameron Young's biggest problem. But if you go over to his weighted proximities, he's 16th on a baseline thing, and his irons are on fuego right now. So what? It's like a Scotty Scheffler type vibe. He's going to be almost the same ownership as Scotty Scheffler, and they're basically putting out the exact same profile in a way off a short-term basis for Cameron Young. So that's what's going on with Cameron Young. I don't know if I'm going to get there with him. The putting, ooh, man, it's especially at 18%. Holy cow, man. That's a lot. He's 11th in the model. Then you get Aaron Wise, who's going to be right underneath him at half the ownership. At $9,000, Aaron Wise, he's 12th in the model. Cameron Young's 11th. The upside for Aaron Wise is not quite there like it is for Cameron Young. Only 13% of his starts in the last 23 have been top 10s, which is 14% less than the 27% that Cameron Young has done. But Aaron Wise is hilarious. Aaron Wise inside of 5 feet is the 4th best putter in the field, and then you go to 5 to 15 feet, and he's like 56th. It's just, isn't golf just a fascinating sport? So that's what's kind of going on there. But Aaron Wise is just so consistent. Birdie or better percentage, 11th. Bogey avoidance, 10th. Par 5 scoring, 11th. So everything about his game is just super steady, apart from his sand saves, which he's going to see a lot of this week. But we'll see. His ball striking is good enough. He's got the 12th best weighted proximity numbers. Love to see that from the guy. Plays easy golf courses pretty well. You kind of tend to think of Aaron Wise as a guy that really plays his best golf on tough golf courses. No, he actually plays good golf on easy courses too. So he's 8%. He's definitely going to be in the player pool. Absolutely. Sign me up. If you're expecting me to pass up on a guy that's 12th in my model and he's one of the lowest owned guys in the top 25, let's go. I'm playing him all day. Like it's just an ownership game at this point. And he's pretty safe for the most part. So we've got 3 rounds of golf. Also, that's something I wanted to mention. Because we have 3 rounds of golf, you're going to get 3 guaranteed rounds of golf from your golfer, unless his name's Xander and probably potentially withdraws. But if you're going to do this, you're only going to, if your guy misses the cut, he's only sacrificing 1 round of points for you. So you can have a 5 or 6 that still places pretty well, because you're only missing 1 round of points versus the 2 that you'd have if you missed a cut for the entire weekend. So bear that in mind. And that's why I think playing the ownership game is completely fine. Even if you're playing a little more risky, that's okay. Your guy's going to get guaranteed 3 rounds. And that could help you make the cut eventually. So that's another aspect you have to look at. Taylor Montgomery, god damn. If you take a look at his 9 starts that we have in the model here, he's got a 78% top 40 rate. He's also got a 78% top 20 rate. This guy's out here just finishing inside the top 20 on the PGA Tour like it's his job. It's insane. Xander Schauffele's only got a better top 20 rate over 18 events. So, look, there's going to be a few moments that he has setbacks. He's trending towards being a little high owned, but he's sitting right there by Cam Davis, which is really intriguing because a lot of people love to play Cameron Davis in DFS. And my, oh my, were people chasing him in Showdown. He was approaching some ridiculous ownership in Showdown last week because he was ball striking the crap out of it and just missing all the putts. And we expected him to putt better, but if you take a look at his putting, it's actually typically pretty good, So I don't know what was happening. He makes the 14th most birdies in this field. Par fives are 22nd. So, like, there's a lot to like about Cam Davis. I don't know why he just didn't ever putt well, but it turned out pretty good if you faded him last week. So that was fun. Andrew Putnam, we've spoken about him, 13% owned. I don't know if I can go there. 43rd in the model. I just like him as a person, as a maniac. The model doesn't necessarily like him that much, but he's 87th in DraftKings, $8,700 in DraftKings salary. So 13% ownership is kind of nuts. He's also made 13 consecutive cuts, which is insane. That's very, very impressive. So Andrew Putnam out here just doing God's work for people that are looking for him to make the cut. So Sahith Theegala, let's talk about him instead. His safety is actually kind of high. He somehow still makes the cuts. 83% of his starts he's made the cut in, and then finishes inside the top 10 23% of the time, which is one of the highest percentages of all the people down in this range outside of Cameron Young. And Sahith's going to be under 10% ownership, which sounds like a kind of position I want to play in some Sahith. At a golf course like this, I know off the tee, the accuracy is a big issue for him, but he hits that driving iron pretty well when I think he needs to. And yeah, so I don't know. None of his numbers make too much sense outside of the fact that he's just super volatile. I think Rick was saying earlier on his show that he's up there with Cantley when it comes to like his ceiling, but then also there's people that are, I couldn't even remember the name that he compared him to because he's that bad. So, when he plays badly, he plays badly. But that is what it is. Next up on the board, 10th in the model, $8,400, 18% owned, Tom Hoge, folks. The second outright of the show at 36 minutes in. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. 36 minutes in, we get our second outright. His name's Tom Hoge. 50-1 on Bet Rivers. We share all that stuff in the Discord. As I put these things and find these numbers, we put the numbers in the Discord. So it has now gone down to 43-1, which is still a very acceptable number for Tom Hoge. Woo! In his 28 rounds that he's played, he's out approaching Tom Kim. He's out approaching Tony Finau. Like, he's hitting his irons better than Tony Finau, who's he's just shy of Tony Finau, but Tony Finau's only played 10 rounds of golf. Tom Hoge, friends, has played a casual 28 rounds of golf since the 2023 season has begun, which is a ludicrous amount of golf. And to have his, by now his stats have normalized, and second ranked approach play it's a fact. And he's second in the field in 2023. He's fourth in the field baseline, including last year. Weighted proximity, he's sixth. He's grossly mispriced at $8,400. He's probably going to be a guy I go to. If I'm going to smash some chalk, I'm going to go to Tom Hoge. He's also played exceptionally well here. He's missed one of the cuts in his last three starts and then finished second and T6. Yes. Let's go. 21% of his starts are top 10s. His safety rating is dog shit at 54%, though. That's the problem. So, but with these kind of irons, like, this guy can jam. He can absolutely jam. And I think this course definitely suits him a lot better than Sony. So we'll see what he can get up to. The bunker play for Tom Hoge is a lot better than his around the green play. So that's kind of also interesting. There's a lot of bunkers on this golf course, and that's maybe why he plays better. Yeah, I was looking at his around the green stats at this course. He's gained the last 3 years. So he's not a course. He's going to be one of the guys that people go to because of the course history, but also because of his iron play. I'm going to go to him too. He's going to be one of the guys we eat chalk on. He's an outright for us, and he's a top 20 at plus 185. So if we want to get, we haven't played too many guys up top here. We'll play a Tom Hoge. And I know people say, well, chalk around you or in that price range, like there's a Sahith that's 9%. Yes, I understand. And I look at that now, and his top 10 percentage is there. But if I'm looking at, I know I'm the model maniac. I like my model. So if I'm going to rank these guys by the model, I'm gonna put his ownership sitting around like a little bit of a Cameron Young kind of thing. Like, I'm okay paying the same ownership for Cameron Young as Tom Hoge because they rank the same, which to me is fine. Also, he's so much cheaper. Like the value he's providing and the upside he can give you at $8,400 is nuts, So that's kind of what you're thinking. Keep an eye on it. I don't know if it goes up much more. Maybe we kind of peel out on Tom Hoagie, but I'm going to be playing aggressive golf, DFS golf, down at the bottom here. So I think 18% Hoagie is okay. I might play him in a few lineups. So KH Lee did the Breaking 100 article, and I was writing about Tom Kim. And KH Lee's name came up. Because why? KH Lee, ball striking in his 24 rounds, 24 rounds in 2023, is walking out into the Amex as the third best ball striker in the field. That includes John Rahm, Tom Kim, Sung J M, Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantley, Tony Finau, Scotty Scheffler. He's the third best ball striker. Irons and off the tee. He's insane. 15th off the tee in 2023 and 7th on approach. Hey, Tom KH Lee's playing some good golf, folks. From 5 to 15 feet, he's 24th in the field. So KH Lee, we were just talking about it now. Like, if you want to play some KH Lee instead of Tom Hoagie, let's rock and roll. I totally would play that because this guy is just doing some stuff right now. Holy cow. 24 rounds and he's ball striking third in this field, which is nuts. So like me some KH Lee, let's rock and roll. Going to scoot on down the board yet to some other guys. We're going to go all the way down to Justin Rose, $7,900. Love him. 20th in the model. Keith Mitchell, 18th in the model, all in the same range. 4%, 6% owned. Ricky Fowler sitting in between them at $7,800, 64th in the model, but 3% owned too. Ricky, on the other hand, ranks 64th in the model because his baseline stuff is sucky. It really is. It's not the best. But if you take a look at his weighted approach play, it's 20th in the field, which is great. So he's always going to bring the heat with the irons. And if you take a look at the 14 rounds he played in the fall, his numbers were really good. They were actually really, really good. So Ricky was doing some good stuff when it came to the fall swing, and then he took a bit of a break, changed the coach, the whole thing. Now he's going to bounce back at 3% ownership. I think we can absolutely see a Ricky bounce back here. He's going to come out hot off the gates, got 3 rounds to do what you got to do. Sign me up for some Ricky. Keith Mitchell burnt a lot of people. He's one of the highest owned, low owned guys last week at the Sony and burnt a lot of people. You can see his safety and top 10 percentage is 104th, which is kind of nuts for a guy that's $7,800 and 18th in the model. So sign us up for some Keith Mitchell love down here in this range. Absolutely going to be playing him. Love what's going on there off the tee. Love what's going on the ball striking front. The approach play, not the best, but he's a really good putter, makes a lot of birdies and dominates par 5s. He's going to have potentially 16 of those to do. So sign us up for Keith Mitchell. Christian Bezuidenhout is $7,700 and going to be 1% owned. Nobody wants to play him after last week. The guy put out an absolute clunker of a two rounds before missing the cut at the Sony. Just went absolutely off the boil. Had a top 40 bet for him at plus 100, even money. Didn't even sniff it. The guy was like last in the field. It was just a disgusting performance from my boy. I have him in my fantasy lineups. No good. So no dice there, but at 22nd in my model, he's got a pretty good safety rating. He's like makes 87% of his cuts, which is very, very good considering we're getting down to the bottom of the barrel. Yeah, like there's no one around him that makes more cuts than this dude. So Bezzy is a safe play if you're not playing at the Sony. I have no idea what he was getting up to. What the hell were you doing last week, my bro? The top 10 stuff for Bezzy, not good. Not good there at all. But he's one of the best putters in the field from 5 to 15 feet. Avoids bogeys pretty well. All screaming stuff for difficult golf courses. But if you take a look at his scoring, he's not the worst on easy courses either. He's 18th on easy courses. So Bezzy, hello, bro. Let's go. I'll sign you up for just as long as you can guarantee me 30% is going to be a top 20 at $7,700. If I click on you first, my 8,300 average is going to go up. And you're going to be 1% owned, which is exactly what we're looking for from a guy in a field like this. If his putter just goes nuclear like we saw at the AT&T Byron Nelson, let's go, Bezzy. Finish inside the top 15, top 10. Make a bunch of birdies, get that putter cooking. I think he just was a little rusty at the Sony. So he's figured that out back in California. Let's go. Joel Damon is going to be another guy that I'm kind of interested in this week. 29th in the model. Kind of a safe-ish play. And his approach play is 12th. And his ball striking is just everything about his tee to green game, ball striking wise, is going to be immaculate. Accuracy off the tee is 12th. Everything about birdie or better percentage, 39th in the field. Not bad for a guy that's $7,600. Sign me up for some Joel Damon. Thomas Dietrich is also an interesting character. Some random names you're just mentioning here. We'll stop at Emiliano Grillo at $7,600. T40 plus 155. Let's go. Emiliano Grillo finishes top 40. 44% of the starts in 25 starts. He missed the cut at the Sony, but his good drives gained at this venue is going to be paramount. Very important stuff. He's pretty accurate off the tee. 27th in weighted proximity numbers. Yes, everything about his game. Out of the sand, he's pretty good. Putts well inside of 5 feet. We don't really care too much. Birdie or better percentages there. 15th. 15th in the field. Guy makes a crap ton of birdies. Makes also a decent amount of bogeys. But we saw this dude do special things. He finished inside the top 5 4 times in the space of 8 tournaments. Then his last 3 or 4 events had been a little off the boil. Missed the cut at the Sony, but was striking the ball well. Those greens are very weird out there. Gets back to a course like this, I think the greens will be a little more manageable for him. Let's see those putts going in. I think he's going to start rolling. Emiliano Grillo, 120 to 1 on FanDuel to win this golf tournament. Third outright of the podcast. Emiliano Grillo, 23rd in the model. Let's go, bro. Let's go, Emiliano. I think you're going to roll some putts in. It's only a matter of time for his putting and his approach play to just click, and this guy can win a tournament. Why not this one? Why not this one? Scooting down the board, Brendan Todd, the savior of last week. He had a heroic Sunday to finish inside the top 40 in order to cash one of the 2 bets that cash out of my 10. So thank you, Brendan Todd. You saved me a whole lot of hurt. You're a lifesaver, bro. Thank you. 17th in the model. The safety is not quite there for this guy. You'd imagine someone that's this accurate off the tee and can putt this well will be the guy you're looking for, but it's not necessarily there. But I think at this golf course, you can kind of get a Brendan Todd. He's 17th in the model and he's 4% owned. So I'm just going to, if there's an ownership difference and my model tells me he's one of the best players in the field, I'm going there. Chris Kirk, on the other hand, I don't know. I think he's a horse for a course type situation. I don't see him playing that great at this venue, although he's also going to be 4%-ish owned and 26th in the model. I'm a big fan of Lee Hodges and Will Gordon. They're both going to be pretty popular in this range. Will Gordon, in his 7 starts so far on the PGA Tour, hasn't missed a cut. He's also finished inside the top 10 14% of the time. So he's sitting with one of the highest safety plus top 10 ratings in this field, and he's sitting at a casual $7,400. So he's a definite cash play, most likely. The same goes with Tom Hoge. If you play like a Tom Hoge, Will Gordon in cash, there we go. That's the way to go there, I think. And we are scooting down the board here to a Dean Burmester. Yes, Burmy, South African boykie. In his 10 starts, he's finished inside the top 40, 50% of the time. Love to see that from him. Hits it a million miles off the green, off the fairway, off the tee. There we go. A million miles off the tee, and plays easy golf courses pretty well. He's played all over the world, 3% owned. I think he's got immense upside. So I'm going to be playing some Dean Burmester. And then we've got a David Lipsky, folks. David Lipsky finished very nicely last week, was in contention to win the tournament, hit it in the bunker, it was plugged, hit it out of the bunker, made double. So if it wasn't for a plugged bunker, and he could have got up and down for a par, he would have been right in the mix. But he kind of just, the wind went out of his sails the moment the ball was plugged. I think it was relatively early in the back 9. And it was, because we never saw any golf until they were halfway through the front 9. So there we go. So it was towards the back 9. He's going to be quite popular. 130 to 1 out there for David Lipsky outright. I got him at 110 on Bet Rivers. Let's go. 4th outright on the card. 4th outright of the podcast. 37th in the model. We love David Lipsky's accuracy off the tee. is really nice. He plays easy golf courses really nicely. And his weighted proximity numbers are 30th in the field. So for a guy that doesn't necessarily scream like he's the best iron player in the world, he's actually got the 16th best approach strokes gained in the field, which is very nice to see. And he's going to go to a golf course that I think that's important at. So David Lipsky, and then a top 40 is plus 185 for David Lipsky. So sign us up for that. Ben Griffin, and you can see these two guys, David Lipsky and Ben Griffin, both outrights that we have, and they're both the highest owned guys in this range. So that's nice. That's nice to know because they're going to be quite popular. They're trending in the right direction. The world knows that these are good golfers. Ben Griffin, look at this. 22% of his 9 starts have been top 10s. Makes the cut 78% of the time. I think he's made his last 7 straight cuts. So that's nice from him. He plays easy golf courses very nicely. And that might have to do a little bit with some Corn Ferry stuff, but a lot of his game is really, really impressive. And when it comes to his approach play, it's super, super solid all the time. He's 16th in the field on approach, which is very, very nice. And then you get some spike putting weeks from this guy, which is exactly what you're looking for at a course like this. $7,200 for Ben Griffin, 10% ownership. I don't know. It depends how you play him. If you put him in a stacked lineup if you're going to put him with Tom Hoagie and you're going to put him with Cameron Young and John Rahm, then you got a bit of a problem. But if you're going to throw him into a mix with some Scotty Scheffler, Aaron Wise, Sahith Theegala, then all those guys are almost like less owned than him, which is kind of nuts. So kind of just think about how you play your guys. Love to get him in the mix, but we're going to go with the top 40 for plus 160 for Ben Griffin. And he's outright at plus 150 to 1, Ben Griffin on DraftKings. So go grab yourself a Ben Griffin outright. At some point, this guy's going to win a golf tournament. And why not have a 151 ticket on him? You can lay $3.25 to win $500,000, which is nuts. So that's what's cooking there. Ben Griffin, all the way down to, take a look at this character. 3% owned, missed the cut at the Sony by 1, which is fine. That's exactly what if you're going to miss the cut, miss by 1, let the whole world think that you suck, but in fact, you just had probably one bad shot that cost you. Mark Hubbard, 14th in the model, 300 to 1, currently sitting out on DraftKings. 14th in the model. Why is he 14th in the model? 21st on approach in 2023 in his 24 rounds that he's played. So he's got a decent amount of rounds in there, and his strokes gained total for the 2023 season involves a foot that had a hole in it from when his daughter dropped a knife into his foot. Yeah. So that's what's cooking. When he was playing at the Sanderson Farms and was in contention to win that thing, he had a hole in his foot. Literally, a knife was dropped into his foot, and he had a hole. Then he had toe surgery because I think he dropped a laptop on his toe or something. Something about a laptop on his toe resulted in toe surgery. So he got out there with a freshly manufactured toe and finished outside the cut by 1. Now he goes to a golf course that relies on accuracy and good drives gained, which is 27th. His approach play is 9th in the field, folks. Mark Hubbard is a really good golfer. $7,000 flat, 3% owned, 14th in the model. Bogey avoidance is 5th in the field. Par 5 scoring is 10th. I went and validated this on the website. This is not an error. This is not fake news. This is the facts. Mark Hubbard has the potential to contend in golf tournaments. He's 3% owned, $7,000. He's 14th in the model, 300 to 1 to win the goddamn golf tournament, and he's plus 700 for a top 20. He's the only person that I'm betting a full unit on, because if he can cash this for me, I'm okay trying to lose a unit, trying to recoup an entire week's worth of losses from last week on Mark Hubbard. I'm putting all my money on Mark Hubbard. Not all my money. It's like 1 unit to win 7, which is nuts. I'm putting my money on him. I'm banking on him. He's 14th in the model, bro. He's the way to go. Easy golf courses, 17th. Off the tee, 33rd. His distance is 143rd. I don't think that matters that much here. All 3 courses are under 7,200 yards. Everything about his game looks amazing. Only a matter of time. He was injured, messing around with all sorts of stuff. That's why I think his numbers are so skewed. The books don't go and peruse Twitter like we do. Mark Hubbard, let's go. Let's go. Robbie Shelton, also another name I like to throw out there, 1% owned. Love this guy. Look at this. The safety, 86% down here. Seven tournaments. He's only missed 14% of his cuts in 7 of those tournaments. So he plays good golf. He plays really good golf. He's got a really good approach game. He's tidy around the greens. And then the par 5s and birdie or better is pretty good. It's just his bogey avoidance that's crap. But the scrambling percentage is 6% higher at this golf course. Hopefully he can get up and down a few more times. Bo Hassler is another guy that the model doesn't even like. It got a hashtag here because he's 112th in the model. Off the tee, just everything is disastrous unless you're looking at his putting. So if you're looking for a guy that's going to be very kind of low owned, 7K, that if you get you get an extra round, you get 3 rounds to play the guy, Bo Hassler is one of them. Next up, 65th in the model, Stuart Sink, 300 to 1. Yes, 300 to 1. And then I think plus 185, plus 260 on FanDuel for a top 40. Stuart Sink just finished T21 at the Sony last week. He's changed his caddy. We've seen what can happen when you change your caddy. He did change his caddy to his son and landed up winning with his son on the bag. Now he's hooked his son, get a new fresh start on the bag. T21 last week. Some new vibes, some new energy, some new love for the old guy that's playing on the Champions Tour now. He also hits at a country mile, so he's not too short. Like, don't worry about his distance off the tee. Weighted proximity, 28th in the field. So if he can get those irons rolling, let's rock and roll. Typically, he's around the green game, pretty suspect. But with 6% extra scrambling percentages around this golf course, sign us up for some Stuart Sink. If those irons are cooking, oh boy, the bookies are going to be scared. They're going to be super scared. So let's get ourselves, look at this. In his 20 rounds in 2023, he's 24th on approach. So if he can just avoid disaster, which he doesn't tend to do that well, but a new caddy on the bag, that's the narrative we're rolling with here. Stuart Sink. Love ourselves some Justin Lower as well. 3% owned, $6,800. Let's go. Some Satoshi Kodaira. Shout out Brian Kirshner. Yeah. $6,600, 1% owned. Satoshi Kodaira. He is a casual, 350 to 1 on Bet Rivers, where I grabbed him for an each way. So that's 6 places. If you finish inside the top 6, that's a 70 to 1 payout on my $1.50 that I placed on that portion of it. The other $1.50 goes to 350 to 1. So it eventually lands up being some crazy $500 payout for a $3 bet with some safety in there. He is super accurate off the tee. He is 25th in weighted proximity. Hello. And then his putting is typically pretty good. He just rattled off 3 top 5s on the Japanese tour before he ended the year. Par 5 scoring, birdie or better, 32nd, 27th. Like, when he was on the PGA Tour, this guy was balling out. Comes back from Japanese, goes, plays in some California. Let's see what Satoshi can get up to. 27th in the model, one of the biggest discrepancies I've ever seen. And we got a ticket on him. He's 400 to 1 on DraftKings. If you just want to grab a 400 to 1 there, go do that. 30th in the model, $6,500, 1% owned, John Herr. Yeah. Some John Herr action over here. John Herr is very accurate off the tee, and when it comes to approach play, his weighted proximity numbers are 3rd in the field. That can mean only something, and he's 1% owned, so I'll have him at $6,500 in this field. Let's go. Sign us up. Good out the sand. Makes a decent amount of birdies, 26th in the field in birdie percentage. And that's it, folks. That's all 8 of the guys. Let's take a peek at where we were. Let's recap real quick. Filter by the pinks. Tom Kim, 22 to 1, available right now. We snagged him 25. Tom Hoagie, snagged him at 50, available right now. 43, still nice number on Tom Hoagie. Emiliano Grillo, 120 to 1. David Lipsky, 110 to 1. Ben Griffin, 150 to 1. Mark Hubbard, 400 to 1 in some places. 300 to 1 on DraftKings. They are throwing that number around like it's a ragdoll on DraftKings. Stuart Sink, 300 to 1. Satoshi Kodaira, 400 to 1. All of those will be outside of Mark Hubbard. I think I'm going to just play a full unit on his top 20, and then I'll sprinkle like a quarter unit on all the other guys to finish in these respective top 20s and top 40s that I just mentioned. So that's what's cooking. 59 minutes in, I'm going to take an extra 5 minutes just to talk about life. I don't even know where I'm going. Let's take a sip of some nice bourbon that I got for Christmas. And just say, be a better person, folks. Be a better person. You could be the best person in the world. You can still be better. Go out there and make a difference to someone's life tomorrow or tonight that you just bump into. Go and make them smile, make them happy, change their life around. You never know what it does to the world. The world is all messed up right now, man. There's all sorts of stuff going on. We've got to love everyone around us. The whole Bob Marley hippie, Bob Ross hippie hat coming out of me now. But you gotta love those that you are around, particularly the loved ones that you might be neglecting a little bit. Go give your wifey a hug. Go give her a smooch. Go do whatever you got to do. Do the dishes. I just didn't do the dishes tonight, but I got a jail out of free card that I had a hand in. Do good things. Make the people around you happier. Bring those good vibes into your world and just make the world a better place. We just went on an absolute skid when it came to the RSM and the Sony, but we're still positive. We're doing the good vibes thing. Everything around us is going to be okay. We do this for fun at the end of the day, and it's all for our entertainment. And as long as you're betting responsibly, you're going to have a good time. We're going to bounce back. That's what you do in life. That's what you do in betting. Just, it's going to be okay. Just know that. If you're having a bit of a tough time right now, just know it's going to be okay. Do what you got to do to get out of that rut. Do what you got to do. Make those tough decisions. Kind of just step up to the plate and take care of business. So that's what my little message is at the end of the podcast here. Absolutely go out there, seize the day, carpe goddamn diem. Have yourselves a good Tuesday night. If you're listening to this on Wednesday, have a great hump day. And let's have a good Amex. We've got 3 days of no cut. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch because it's fun, Lewis, because it's fun. Go watch that clip if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's hilarious. Check out all the other stuff at rotoballer.com, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Your support is very much appreciated and cherished. Linda Q, out.